wins at Wahoo that you've enjoyed, but you still have one more hurdle to clear. How's it feel?
Well, it just feels good to be back in the state finals. It's exciting, and they've all been exciting, and we're looking forward to a good game tonight.
With so much attention being put on you and your career and the things that you've gotten done at Wahoo, what have you done to kind of put that on the back burner and concentrate on this game?
Well, really, you know, all our efforts have been focused on the district and state tournament, so we haven't had a lot of time to think about anything else, and we're real focused right now on getting by Norris. So,
how about this Norris team? They've went undefeated. Of course, you only have the one loss, but Norris has really come together this year, it looks like.
Well, my hat's off to them. There's a lot of pressure going undefeated, and they've got a great team, and they're well balanced, and they're well coached, and we're going to have play an excellent game in order to beat them.
All right, Mick Anderson, thank you very much for joining us. Mick Anderson, head coach of the Wahoo Warriors. It'll be his last time he'll be sitting on the Wahoo bench tonight. We'll be right back with more pregame action right after this.
Hats.
Number 33, Eric Eady. Number 41, Sean Forbes. Number 42, Chris Anderson. Number 44, Dan Brown. Number 53, Ryan Fiala. And number 55, Tim Bohati. And now the non-starters for Norris. Number 5, Jamie Draper. Number 10, Brandon Bolt. Number 12, Chris Johnson. Number 20, Nate Yassa. Number 35, Andy Furman. Number 42, Isaac Russell. And number 44, BJ Helmick. And now, here are the starters. First, for Wahoo, a 5'10" sophomore, number 21, Josh Anderson. A 6'3" sophomore, number 31, Mike Simons. A 6'1" senior, number 35, Greg Hine. A 6'4" senior, number 45, Travis Tolene. And a 6'2" senior, number 54, Mike Hancock. The assistant coaches are Mark Watton, Harry Kasiski, Guy Dunning, and Bryce Cook. And the head coach of the Warriors is Mick Anderson. And now the starting 5 for Norris. A 6-foot sophomore, number 23, Chris Bosinger. A 6'2" senior, number 32, Chad Otto. A 6'4" junior, number 33, Adam Zetterman. A 5'8" senior, number 34, Marcus Bosinger. And a 6'4" senior, number 52, Ryan Holes. The assistant coaches are Brian Uman and Kenton Altman. And the head coach of the Titans is Kurt Carlson. The officials for tonight's championship game are Joe Wells and Dan Trout. The bench official is Scott Gaines.
So it's Wahoo and Norris, the game that everybody wanted to see. Coach, I know that Wahoo has been in big pressure cooker games before, but how about Norris? How will they respond to a setting like this?
Look at the schedule this year. Every game they played was very close against good teams, and they've responded. They're undefeated. They know how to win. They got a reservoir of will that will be hard to beat.
Is the pressure on one team more than another? I mean, you can make the case, I guess, both ways with Mick Anderson retiring, with Norris undefeated, with Norris here.
Mick said it best. He's glad he's here. Bear Bryant used to say, pressure's when the kids are sick, the rent's due, and your wife ran off the hired man. This is fun. They'll play hard.
The hired man?
The hired man.
Well, thank heavens that hasn't happened yet, so I guess the pressure's off. We'll give you the call. KOLN winning the tip. And Wahoo will take control in this first quarter of play.
Norris opened up man-to-man. Might go triangle and 2 later.
They get it down low. KOLN, he'll score.
No, Simon.
Simon scores. So it's 2-zip Wahoo. Norris on the attack. Bosiger.
Wahoo is at a triangle and 2. And look for that a lot of the game. A little slime defense, as Mick calls it.
Chad under the spin. It's on the wing at Zetterman. Back to Otto. Bosinger into the paint. The shot off the iron. He'll follow, and we have a foul.
Dan Trout and Joe Wells officiating tonight. And we've had guys hit the floor down the first 2 possessions and no blocks and no charges, so they're going to let them play.
Nice follow here. He was able to get control of the ball, the feet underneath, the basket, and the foul.
Foul's going to be on Greg Hine.
Adam Zetterman going to the line. Zetterman, the individual who had that stress fracture, was out for 2 months this season. He said when he was out, it helped create some depth on the Norris team, and that's why they're here today.
Good point. Like I said in the pregame, they got 8 players. They've been playing a lot. Wahoo hasn't played that many.
So he's full strength now. The 6'4" junior puts in just over 8 points per game. He's short on the mark there, so it's 2-2 Wahoo. No surprise, they're running. Hancock. Hine goes to the basket, and we have a foul.
You kind of have to pick your poison when you play Wahoo. If you zone them, Hancock kills you. If you man them, Hine drives over, around, and top of you. And look for Greg Hine to have maybe a bigger game than Mike Hancock tonight.
So it's like pick your poison.
Exactly.
Well, the poisonous Greg Hine at the line. Gets the first one to drop.
Look for some kind of a junk press here. I think Mick said in the pregame that they're going to do a little pressing.
So Wahoo with a lane violation. Norris will take control.
Josh Anderson left the lane space too soon. Here's your press.
And already it pays dividends.
I don't think the ball touched. Yes, it did. It's right straight back out of bounds on the baseline here. Mike Hancock could have triggered in.
Out to Hine. And they go right back to Hancock. There's Simons. And there's a foul.
Great job. Inbounder stepping to the corner, Mike Hancock did. They doubled up on him. He dishes it inside to Simons. Another out of bounds play here with Mike Hancock triggering.
When a team passes the ball so crisply, what's the alternative for a coach? How do you just kind of get them out of rhythm?
You still got to get up in their face and pressure the basketball, just like Norris kid here is on Greg Hine. 5-second call.
Great defense there by Bosiger.
Yeah, and Wahoo does that very, very well. They pass the ball with the best of them.
We should note there's 2 Bosigers. Marcus there, number 34, causing the turnover. Chad Otto dribbling up into the forecourt. Now it's Chris Bosiger.
A little run and jump type of press. Back to a defense. Looks like a 2-man zone, 3 guys man-to-man.
Well, we are going to see a quick pace tonight. Otto to Bosiger.
33 from Norris. Got a flash from the weak side low block there area because it was open and he didn't come.
He's not moving. There's Bosiger for 3. That's off.
Offensive rebound.
But Marcus controls the rebound, and he'll reset the offense. They're looking low. There's Chris driving. Nice play by KOLN. And the Warriors are running. Hancock. He misses the bunny.
Back the other way. Out of bounds call. Could have been a block or a charge. Maybe it was a good no call, as they say in the business.
Well, like you said, Steve, it looks like the referees are going to let them play, and if we're going to have some incidental contact, that's the way it's going to be.
Hine with the dribble here. A little bit of motion, pick on the ball here by Hancock.
Hine very quick off the dribble. Goes to Hancock underneath, and we have a foul.
Great pass. And Greg Hine is such a great jumper. A lot of times you say don't jump to pass, but Greg Hine has got a great ability to be able to see the open guy because he's up there a long time.
Well, I'm sure there's some state tournament championship game jitters that are getting squeezed out of the system right here.
42's in for Norris there. That's Isaac Russell.
Russell had those crucial free throws in the win against McCook, the double overtime victory. 67-64 the final numbers in that contest.
Hancock gets the free throw, makes it 4-2 here.
And Wahoo comes with pressure. Almost a turnover. Otto off the rim. Rebound by Simons.
A very good rebounder too for Wahoo. Maybe their leading one.
Colleen tries for Hancock. He's able to get it through, and Hancock is able to get the roll.
Mike Hancock really competing very well here.
So Norris finds itself down 6-2. Not anymore, it's 6-4, thanks to Isaac Russell.
Greg Hine on the dribble there. Again, Mike Hancock running off some stagger screens out to Anderson there.
Simons for three, off. Rebound by Otto. Chris Bosiger. He'll try the tray, and it's good.
Norris is coming down, Greg. Norris is coming down, playing their game. You know, they don't mind running. It's going to be a great tempo game tonight.
I think so, too. They haven't switched anything. Wahoo averages 94 points per game. Norris comes in about a 69 clip, which pales in comparison, but pretty doggone good.
Bosiger on the dribble here. Again, Wahoo still in a little bit of a junk defense.
Zetterman is off, and Hine has the ball.
Big thing is, with this tempo, you know, Greg Hine, you know, he brings it up every time. He might be a little bit tiring here with half a quarter gone.
You see the Norris coaching staff urging their players to really pressure the ball, pressure Hine. And like you said, Coach, by pressuring it, takes away the dribble, takes away the penetration. Russell calls for steps.
Travis Stoleen had his hand on the hip pretty good, which is a nice little trick. But anyway, again, the team let the teams play. And we have a timeout right now.
It's 7-6 with 3:54 to go in the championship game in Class B. It's a good one. We're back after a quick timeout. Back live here at the Devaney Center. Wahoo with the ball, a 7-6 contest. The pace has been frantic, to say the least.
Norris staying in the man-to-man defense.
And a whistle. Chad Otto came up with the ball, but
I think he stepped on the baseline,
he
looks
did.
like. You're doing a good job of help side defense on the lob to Travis Toleen.
I think a lot of folks expected Wahoo maybe to hang with Norris for a little bit and then actually, when it was all said and done, win it by a good 15 or 20 points.
Foul there on Bosiger. Hine posted up down low. Mike Hancock had a little bit of daylight to shoot the three on the reversal on the inbounds. Chose not to.
You know, in the same light, too, I think just as many people wouldn't be surprised if this is a very close game and Norris actually pulled it out. It's Hancock in the paint, and that goes for two.
Coach Dempsey from Omaha Grove said it best last night. He said, Wahoo looked human last night.
That rarely happens. Russell to the far side. The tray is off from Otto. And there's Hine. He's got great body control, doesn't he?
Great body control. And again, you got a team, Norris, playing up-tempo. Very few teams want to run with Wahoo. And Norris is going to do it. They're not going to change.
They had the numbers there. Bosiger. Nice move. Chris Bosiger going up and over Travis Toleen.
Makes it 10-9 with 2:50 to go in the first quarter. Hine on the dribble here. Jolene there at the high hold. Good pass down low to Hancock.
Hancock roaming that low post, and he's up and in.
The good players like Kip Kissinger did a good job in the game preceding this one, moving without the basketball. Mike Hancock does a great job in that regard for Wahoo.
So they break it into the front court. Now it's Marcus Bosiger over to Otto. It's a 12-9 Wahoo lead.
We've got Wahoo in their patented 1-3-1 zone defense right now. Greg Hine just about got it.
He's quick.
He is very, very quick. But no, they're going to be in a 1-3-1 now. Hine out at the point. Anderson down on the baseline. Wings are Simons and Hancock.
So they work the ball around. Marcus Bosiger to Chris. They play catch.
Norris, little gamble there by Josh Anderson, and it cost him.
Yep, and
ball into the high post.
Isaac Russell getting some free space in the lane. So Norris willing to go toe-to-toe with Wahoo in the running department.
Great job, dribble penetration. Norris is going to have a hard time stopping Greg Hine on that dribble penetration. That causes problems.
So it's 14-11. For three, and it's off from Otto. We have a foul and a push. Isaac Russell has played very well since entering the game.
I don't think enough was said last night in the McCook game that how Norris, everybody talked about Matt Kaminsky, the great player that he is, fouling out. Norris lost some boys on some fouls, and, you know, they stepped up and managed to pull it out in the second overtime. The thing about it is Norris is coming up and down the floor, and the tempo's not going to slow, Greg.
Nice look inside. And there's who else? Isaac Russell, and Wahoo with an uncharacteristic turnover.
We got a minute 30 to go. 14-13 Wahoo. And again, Norris is not panicking at all. The thing that they've got to do, we got number 15 in here, Lewis Wotipka, I think it is, coming in. He's coming in for Josh Anderson. He's going to be settling down. Oh, we got, it wasn't touched, so it goes out of bounds baseline here.
Yep. So it's Chad Otto with the inbounds pass. And just as quickly as Norris gets it turned over again. Quick hands from Chris Bosiger. Norris back on top.
Great job there, picking his pocket. And again, you know, they're playing with Wahoo, and like I said, they're not going to panic.
Hancock on top. There's Simons from the corner. It rims out. Zetterman with the rebound, and Norris, they're running. Otto pulls up. The shot is good.
Great job. 2-point shot. He was just inside the arc.
Well, Norris is for real. If you didn't watch their games earlier, you know it now. It's 17-14. Playing a style few thought Norris could play with Wahoo, but they have been in this first quarter.
Very few teams in Wahoo's schedule. Stoley knocks one home from about 14 feet. Very few teams play them man-to-man. And I think Mick will be the first to tell you that, they don't see that much man, but a lot of it is transition they get on their offense. So, again, we're going to see a dandy here.
So we're under 30 seconds to go in this first quarter. Otto gives it down to Zetterman. They're underneath. Trouble in the paint. Norris has moved the ball very well. Bosiger from way down. But look who's there. Russell with the putback.
Great job on the offensive board by Isaac Russell.
Well, he was wide open. Wahoo will play for the last shot. Hancock, we have a whistle.
We have an offensive foul on Lewis Wotipka, shoving down on a downstream situation.
Steve, I think you made a great point when you said Norris cannot panic. If they panic, they're toast.
Down here on the 1-3-1, I know a little bit about it. I played for Coach Jim King at Mount Michael, and what we got. Whoops.
Well, an interesting choice, an interesting selection there.
Well, but anyway, the point is the last trip down here, they trapped in the corner and they skip pass out and look for that diagonal pass out of the corner for Norris to get a good shot like last time.
19-16 after one quarter of play. We're back with the second quarter after a timeout.
10-11's live coverage continues with the Wahoo Norris game. I'm standing with Kathy Anderson, Mick Anderson's wife. He is the Wahoo coach. He's been coach for 18 years, 5 championships since '87, an incredible career. Kathy, I understand you eat, sleep, and live basketball.
Oh, it's year-round for us. We've gone to Southwest Missouri with Mick and the kids, and I've gone to other basketball camps, and the Nike League to watch the kids play.
How do you feel about his retiring?
Whatever he wants, we're behind him 100%.
100%. All righty. Well, we congratulate him on a wonderful career. We hope you have a good game. Back to you, Greg.
Here's a replay of that last bit of action. Tolene with the bucket, but the offensive foul. Don't count it. It's 19-16 still in Norris's favor. There's some trouble.
We have a foul call right here on Simon, number 31.
Simons, he's not happy with that. They had the trap set up just the way they wanted. Apparently Simons caught some flesh.
I'm sorry, he probably didn't need to reach in. They had a good trap, had him clamped very, very well, and it was a 5-second call.
So a 3-point lead in the Titans with the ball.
Wahoo's opening up again here. It looks like maybe straight man-to-man here, which it's a jump deep now. There goes Simon out in the corner. I think it's straight man-to-man.
Otto can't get it to go. Simons with the rebound, and we have a foul. It's going to go against Russell.
Simon is a very, very good rebounder for Wahoo, and I saw the game against Grand Island Central Catholic the last Saturday of the regular season. He just gets up and screens out really good. He doesn't look like a sophomore out there, Greg. He looks a lot older than that.
He plays much older. Good position on that play. So Hine into the front court. He gets it to Tolene. They work the ball. Hine off the glass and in.
That time they popped the high post out and ran Hine off the stagger picks. And he just jumped up over the top of people. I'm telling you what, that's what makes him good. He's a lot like Othello Meadows from Creighton Prep in that regard.
Now Kurt Carlson is over there on the Norris sideline, telling his team to be patient when they're facing the press. They threw the ball away that time, thinking someone was going to be cutting. No dice.
Here comes Hancock off the stagger pick. Hine coming back out on the right wing.
The circus move, and he draws the foul.
If Greg Hine has any weakness, he doesn't stick the 15 to 18 footer as readily as Mike Hancock. So you'll see them defensively maybe lay off him to stop the drive, but they won't stop it. I mean, he can just go by you no matter where you are.
So he will go to the charity stripe. Norris already in the bonus with 6:41 to go in this second quarter. Ryan Halls checks in for the Titans.
Team foul situation, 6 apiece, Greg. So the 1-on-1 situation, we're in it the rest of the way, so free throws are going to be a big-time factor.
Hine off with his first. There's Kurt Carlson.
Can't set the press unless you make a field goal or free throw.
And now we'll see it.
Now.
Bosiger, Marcus looking over the situation. Halls back to Bosiger.
Drop him back. Looks like, again, 3 guys man-to-man, 2-man zone with the guys on the block. Simon and Simon and Tolene, excuse me.
Russell looking low. A lot of movement on top of the Titans. Bosiger from way down, and Simon is there to clear the glass.
Rebound. Here comes Mike Hancock down the left side.
Hancock. Oh my, that almost went. Otto clears. They have a man.
Bosiger ahead.
Bosiger.
1-on-2.
Nice play. He saw Simon stop, set, looked like he was going to get the charge, but Bosiger was able to kind of go straight up and pull back and avoid the charge and get the hoop.
Wahoo, when they start the quarter, you got to weather their onslaught in terms of transition. The longer the quarter goes, the transition's not there. Good shot there by Greg Hine.
What were you saying about the transition?
The transition, you know, the kids are going to rest. 3-point shot here. Big rebound here by Tolene. Here comes Wahoo. Situation I was saying is that, they run really well the first 2 or 3 minutes. Now they're kind of rest a little bit. Both Mike Hancock and Greg Hine look a little bit tired. That Norris is too, though. Those all fairness too. So ball goes out of bounds here.
So as we look at the scoreboard, we see 21 apiece with 5:08 to go in this first half. Our continuing coverage of the Boys State basketball tournament continues in a moment. Back live at the Devaney Center in Lincoln. 5:08 to go in this first half of play. We're tied at 21. Anything surprise you so far, Steve?
Well, both teams are going hard, and that's why they look a little winded. So, you know, the official timeout is probably a boon to both sides. Norris still staying in the man-to-man.
A crisp game to this point. Simons with the ball. They move it around to Hine. Hine looking for somewhere to penetrate, and Bosinger turns it back. There's Simon, and it's off.
Wahoo.
Well,
It'll be
it's
out of
Wahoo's
bounds
ball.
underneath the Wahoo. Wahoo's going to do kind of a 5-game spread or set here. 2-1-2 high post with just movement on each side.
Hancock the inbound. They go to Hine, and that play takes nothing but athleticism.
Exactly, and it's kind of hard for Bosinger to stop it. You know, he's quick enough maybe to guard him on the dribble, but not, he'll just jump up over the top of you.
So Norris is going to get those points. They get 2 of them there. And there's Bosinger right back on the offensive.
Good job
Russell.
there by Tolene on the deflection. Here
And you
comes
saw
Mike
that
Hancock.
coming. Hancock up and in. He read that like a bad book.
Wahoo's biggest lead, I think, at 25-21 here. Again, a little bit of pressure in backcourt. Hancock gets the steal.
Kurt Carlson needs a timeout here, and he's going to take one.
Just like last night, Mike Dempsey said from Omaha Gross. Well, they did everything good except a little run right before the half, and then right there at the end of the game. And again, that's what you got to do. You got to stop the bleeding. Kurt called timeout.
We go back to your comment earlier, Steve, about handling pressure. The pressure of the game is one thing, but when you handle the pressure of the Wahoo spurt, you know it's going to come. When you see it taking place, you need to nip it in the bud. You need to get your composure back. That was a good timeout.
It's a great timeout, but what's more important right now, Greg, Norris has got to come down and get a good shot. Here comes Mike Hancock on the first steal in that series. But the big thing is, if they don't reverse the basketball and get a good shot this time, Wahoo's going to go the other way, and then 6 might turn into 8 on him.
Sure. Well, it's evident that cross-court pass from the low post back up on top isn't going to work. They're just going to have to swing the ball.
Swing the ball. Again, you know, Wahoo, just like any good team, and Mick's got a very, very good team, they're going to give them a different look defensively with a press here. They're going to have a different press. Go back to a different half-court defense if I don't miss my guess.
Boy, Mike Hancock doing it all during that little stretch. Couple of steals, converted both into a couple of baskets.
Here you got a man-to-man pressure on the basketball. Tolene has dropped back playing safety on the press.
Bierman to Bosinger. They'll need to get it up quickly, and Wahoo will take control.
Exactly what Norris didn't need that time. I know Coach Carlson's not excited about that exchange there, so here comes Wahoo, 27-21 with 3:53 to go in the half.
Simons to Hine. Hine, the high archer.
Tough shot, almost went down. Simon on the rebounding foul. That puts both teams again in the 1-on-1.
Boy, he really put some mark on that.
He hangs.
Had to.
Tell you what, most of the time when you hang and shoot on the way down, it flattens it out. Othello Meadows and Greg Hine shoot on the way down, and they get away with it because they got great touch on the basketball.
Yeah. So it's Andy Furman. He's a 6'2" senior, and he's part of the deep squad for this Norris team, averaging almost 8 points per game.
Big free throw, needed free throw from Norris's vantage point.
That gets them off number 21, which they've been stuck on for a while.
Again, you know, Norris got to climb back in here because, again, if Wahoo comes down and gets their run going, boy, it's hard to stop the bleeding against the Wahoo bunch.
Furman, the second attempt. That too will go. It's 27-23.
Straight man-to-man again by Norris. Stagger pick situation again.
Hine, and it's good.
They run Hancock off the stagger pick and dribble penetration for Hine, and he just jumped over the top of him and got something done.
Norris able to spring a man free, and Hancock grimaces. That was a cheap one.
Now, bad thing about it is he's sitting there about 38 feet from the basket, right in front of the 28-foot mark, and it's unnecessary. You know, you don't want to foul him out there because you know, and to Norris's credit, they didn't panic against the press. That's about the best way they've handled the press in the last 3 or 4 or 5 trips down, Greg. And again, a defensive mistake by fouling puts them on the line.
Well, Hancock knew that right away. Bolsiger, the first, doesn't go, but his quickness pays off as he gets the rebound.
Great job on the rebound there.
Goes baseline. Can't bring the ball down.
Great hands there by Mike Hancock, forcing the jump ball. Arrow pointing to Wahoo.
Can't blame Halls on that play as much because he received the ball about chest high.
And when it's one of those things, you know, he should have moved up the lane a little bit as the penetration came on the baseline there. And doubling up here on Hine. Lutipka's got it. Reverses over to Anderson. Knocked that baby down.
That going for a tray, and suddenly the Warriors are up 9. Boy, it happened quick.
I think number 35 traveled a little bit there, Andy Furman, but, you know, again, the officials, nobody ever told you they were going to be perfect.
They work it down low. Furman to Bolsiger.
Wahoo doing a great job here, changing up the run, that 3-man, man-to-man, 2 guys on the zone.
Furman, that's off. Hancock the board.
Add Mike Hancock's name to the list of guys that get up there on the rebounds.
Bolsinger hurt. He's late in joining the play. And what's the call?
Wow.
Injury?
Well, that's what Kurt Carlson wanted the play stop. Mick is a little bit upset because it was 5-on-4 to his vantage point.
Sure.
And Bolsinger's down here. He's not going to get hurt down at the other end, but Mick's going to live with it. He's up 32-23.
Yep.
If it was the other way around, Mick might not have liked that too well.
Well, they'll take a timeout on the floor. We'll take a timeout as well and pay a few bills. 32-23 Wahoo on top with 1:48 left in the first half. Back in a moment.
10-11's live coverage continues with Wahoo and Norris going to battle. With me is 9-year-old Joy Henning, who says there's no way she's ready to give up. Joy, I see your face is painted, but why is it backwards?
Well, my mom just did it backwards, and I didn't notice until I looked in the mirror and I saw it.
Okay, Joy, show us how you get the crowd wild. Back to you, Greg.
Steve, that looked like a dance step you might be doing back in the early 70s.
I don't know about that, but I'd like to teach that excitement, energized little gal in the 4th grade next Monday.
Wahoo going down at Toline. He can't get the gimme, and the rebound goes to Zetterman.
Toline's been very quiet tonight, but he's still been battling. Here comes Anderson the other way. To Hine on the breakaway.
And once again, Hine is able to lay it in.
Great job by Greg Hine running ahead of the pack.
Boy, he's quick. He just springs free in a moment.
I think he ran a 52nd flat quarter his sophomore year in a JV track meet at Wahoo.
Norris with some trouble here, but they're able to finally break it up. Furman, not the shot the coach probably had in mind.
Exactly, Greg.
Hancock.
Great rebounder. Norris has got to stop the bleeding, and they got to do that by getting the ball maybe inside. I know they've had a tremendous amount of success with a 3-point shot this year, but you know, a lot of times when they get out of their own gym, I've heard from a lot of the coaches in their area, they don't shoot as well. Of course, that's where they practice in their home gym. So,
oh, sure.
58.7 seconds to go. Excuse me. And it's 34-23 Wahoo.
Well, it's under a minute to go, as Steve said, and the amazing thing is about 2 or 3 minutes ago, this was a 2-4-point game, and right now it's an 11-point deficit Norris is facing, which is just a testament to exactly how quickly Wahoo can come up and bite you.
Excuse me, great hustle that time and getting the offensive rebound off the missed free throw.
Big trip down the floor for the Titans. They need a basket. It's Otto.
I'm extremely impressed with how good a man pressure they're exerting here.
Bolsiger is off.
He was standing on the baseline when he tried to save it off Watipka's foot. Wahoo's pressure on the 3 guys they're playing man-to-man has been outstanding. They're putting 2 guys zoning down there on the blocks, and it's really disrupted Norris's half-court offensive flow. Here comes Hine. I think Wahoo's going to play, looks like a 5-game set again. They're going to play for maybe the last shot of the half, leading 34-23.
So the Warriors moving around. Hancock. That was
We got 9 seconds to go. And Hine handling the ball. Look for dribble penetration and Hine.
Carlson calling for his troops to come out and meet Hine. Hine with the spin move and good. The worst possible scenario.
Leads at 36-23 here at half. And again, how do you stop that? He just backs the end, jumps up over the top of you, and if you put somebody bigger on him, he's going to drive by him.
You look at the two teams going into the locker room. Wahoo running in with their arms raised. Norris going in with their heads down. Steve Van Hoosen standing by with Wahoo head coach Mick Anderson. Steve?
That's right. Mick Anderson joins us. That pressure defense made a big difference.
We're able to get some turnovers. We need to capitalize. We're missing too many easy shots, and we're not rebounding long. We're not getting a long rebound at all. So there's a lot of things we can do better.
All right, very good. We'll let you get back to your team. Wahoo out on top, 36-23. We'll be right back after this. Back at the Sports Center, halftime of the B game. You've seen the Class B All-State team, and you've also seen the honorable mention list. I'm joined here by Steve Burton once again. This honorable mention list could be an A team real quickly.
You be the one to tell him Greg Hine didn't make All-State. He was honorable mention, okay?
See, we're blaming that on the coaches. This is the coaches' Class B All-State team.
Well, we're going to blame it on you guys for counting the ballots.
All right. Let's run down some of these guys. We're looking at Mike Hancock tonight. His defensive plays made a difference.
Mike Hancock, offensively, is really great against the zone. He's done a great job tonight. Don't make any mistakes about that. But he really tortures you against the zone. Greg Hine tortures you when you're playing man-to-man, and that's why he looks good tonight, too.
That's right. Let's go down the list here. Matt Kaminsky of McCook, 19 a game's not the chopped liver either.
He put 35 on Norris last night. Great talent. He's a University of Nebraska Kearney recruit, and great kid to go along with it.
UNK's grabbing some talent. How about Andy Markowski coming to NU next year?
Unfortunate for the fans not to see Andy Markowski. Great talent, UNL recruit, and he's going to do well down here, Steve.
Yeah, how about Chad Egger?
Chad Egger had to carry his load a lot this year for Coach Bob Fish at Crete, and with 22.7 points a game and about 8 rebounds, he did a great job doing that.
All right, and Seth LeGrand rounds out that top team. So we'll go ahead and knock off here. Let Steve Burton get back over to the table. We'll take a break and have a 10-11 news update for you.
Back live at the Devaney Center. We're at the half. Wahoo with the 36-23 lead over Norris. Let's take a look at some of the numbers inside that score. Two big numbers stick out. Field goal percentage, Norris hitting on just 40%, Wahoo hitting on 64%. That's impressive. You look down at the other numbers, everything else fairly comparable. But what's not on your screen, the three-point attempts and those made. Norris, 1 of 12 for 8%. Wahoo, they're 1 of 3. They haven't had to take those three-pointers. Their fast break offense has been in high gear. So it's 36-23 when those numbers are all totaled up. Wahoo with the lead. We're back with second half action after the break. Back live at the Devaney Sports Center. 36-23 the numbers at the half, and our Terry Tiber standing by with two very special Wahoo residents.
That's right, Greg. We're here with Bill Hancock, Mike Hancock's dad. And the secret to Mike's success is all in the socks and shorts we hear. Tell us about it.
Well, he has a pair of red and green plaid shorts that he always wears to every game, and a pair of Christmas socks that he wears underneath his white socks. And that's his good luck charms.
Well, we hope his lucky shorts and socks work for him this time. He must be very proud. Back to you, Greg.
Okay, thank you, Terry. We're going to go with Steve Van Hoosen right now, standing by with Kurt Carlson, the Norris head coach.
That's right, Greg. Kurt, it was 19-16 you guys after the first quarter, but it all changed in that second quarter.
We didn't handle the pressure very well in the second quarter. And again, that's their game, and we talked about that a lot before the ball game. We did a good job with it in the first quarter. And we did a good job, I thought, of forcing some turnovers on them and taking them out of their offense. I think they made some adjustments. We're a little confused offensively down at this end. They're switching some things up on us. But we talked about hopefully we can get the press figured out. We adjust our press breaker a little bit and make some adjustments that way.
All right, best of luck to you, Coach.
All right,
Thanks
thank
for your
you.
time. We'll be back with second half action right after this.
Back live at the Devaney Sports Center, and Adam Zetterman starts the second half for Norris with a much-needed bucket.
Norris had a tough game last night. We did not mention that, and Coach Carlson had said, hope they can come back tonight. You know, their legs might not have been as sharp in the first half as they would have liked. Big rebound there by number 33, Adam Zetterman again. Here comes Norris on transition.
You know, you run the numbers in that second quarter. Remember, Norris led after one quarter of play, 19-16. Wahoo outscored the Titans 20-4 in the second quarter. Points in the half, Greg Hine, 19. That can't be correct. Mike Hine with 11, Tolene.
No, Greg Hine had 19.
He did have 19, excuse me. Hine with 19, Hancock with 11, Tolene had 4. As for Norris, Russell with 8, and Bosiger with 9.
Transition points, you know, the turnovers that Wahoo forced from Norris, they converted to instant points.
Russell can't get that to drop, and it's time to play defense quickly. Hine.
Board, here comes Simon with the offensive rebound.
Well, Russell had a couple of chip shots on the other end there, and they couldn't go down. Greg Hine with 19 in the first half. That's amazing.
Well, tell you what, he just goes to the basket and jumps over and around you so well. You know, he didn't get that one to fall. And, credit Simon to keeping the ball alive and getting the offensive board. At 36-25, Norris has got to get a great shot every time down. They've done that the last couple of trips here.
So Simons makes it a 37-25 lead early in this second half.
Here comes the pressure in backcourt again. Hine and Hancock do it as good as anybody.
Zetterman to Bosiger, trying to trap him, but he springs free. Now it's Otto.
Mick Anderson elected to start with Tipka instead of Josh Anderson. In this half, and I have no idea why. Big three-point shot there.
Zetterman knocks that down. Warriors moving around the perimeter. Simons back to Hine for 3, off. Latipka. And we have a foul.
Foul on number 42 there, Isaac Russell, the 6'2 junior. At 38-27 with 6:15 to go, you got to be remembering what maybe Al McGuire used to always say. First 4 minutes of each half is really important. And Norris has got to get something done in terms of both defensively and offensively here. And Wahoo's hit a couple free throws to weather the storm thus far.
Louis Watipka. Mick Anderson has that blue towel that he's wringing amongst all this frenzied action.
34, Bosiger comes back with the defensive board, and here comes Norris on the attack.
They go down low. Zetterman, the fade. Can't get the roll. There's Russell. Big rejection, and Hine doesn't like the call.
Greg Hine better start liking him better, because I think Dan Trout doesn't like his response and reaction to that. But again, you can't swat. You got to go straight up on the shots. When you swat, you're asking to get a foul.
Yes.
Last thing Greg Hine wants to be is maybe a shot blocker. He does a lot of things well. He needs to be on the floor. Credit Isaac Russell for having great position in there, getting that offensive rebound. He got up good extension on it.
Keeps the ball up there, doesn't he? Both are good. We have a 10-point game with 6 minutes to go in this third quarter. Hine. Hancock look, pulled up. Watipka. He looks.
Wahoo's running some 5-man motion, really running some people off stagger picks. into KOLN here.
And it's an offensive foul. KOLN getting the call, and Norris will get the ball.
Joe Wells called the offensive foul. KOLN may have been fouled before he caused the charge, before he had the charge.
So Norris trying to get it down to single digits. Zetterman.
Barely over in time. Again, the defense, Wahoo had the first half, confused them, as Coach Carlson said.
Bosinger steps up and rips the ripcord.
8-point margin, 39-31 with 5:15 to go.
And we have a timeout. Wahoo is charging for timeout. Good timeout, I think.
I'll tell you what, Wahoo didn't come out with fire in their eyes as far as maybe wanting to push it up and back, and I think Mick maybe wanted to get them corralled over there and say, hey, it's not over just because they had a 13-point margin. 13 was shrunk to 8. Norris needs a good stop this time.
So it's 39-31. Wahoo taking the break. Norris, if they can chip away at this, get it down to, say, 4 or 5 in the fourth quarter, that's got to give them a lot of confidence.
With 5:12 to go, Greg, you're looking at a situation that, I think if I'm Kurt Carlson right now in that huddle, I'm going to be upbeat. The Norris players didn't look too excited to start the half, to be truthful with you. I think, they're looking at a 13-point deficit. Now I think they got a little bit of hope, and hope makes the term. Field goals this half, Norris is 3 of 5. Wahoo is 0 for 3, getting their points at the free throw line.
Thank you for your cooperation.
A little house cleaning going on here, it looks like. And that's bad element in fan behavior, and because the kids are playing their hearts out there, and officials are doing a great job getting up and back. And, if anybody thinks they can officiate, go get a whistle and get licensed.
Unless you're an official down in Missouri, that's a whole nother ball game.
My wife's from Missouri, so don't get me started on that.
That's a conversation for another time. Right now, it's 39-31 Wahoo. Hine with the ball on top of the key. Now Hancock. That Norris pressure defense has a little bit more spring in their step, but Hine springs free himself on the backside.
Very good point. More defensive pressure, but Simon credited him with a great pass to the weak side as they rotated over.
That an ill-advised pass, but it's able to fall into Norris' hands. Now it's Bosinger. Can't get the bank shot to drop, and it's a 10-point game with Wahoo's ball.
Better shot selection that time, because they were throwing the threes up first half, and they were like 1 of 11 or 12, I think. Again, 5-man motion, Hancock open.
That rims off. Here comes Norris. It's Otto. Bosinger from the corner. That misses.
Here comes Mike Hancock. Foul called on number 34 there again, Marcus Bosinger.
Not a bad foul. Looked like Wahoo had numbers there.
They had good numbers there, and now again, everybody talks about wanting to have a running game going. Kids don't run. They don't like, they talk about running, but they go on and do it. Mike Hancock really pushed it up, and they ran well that time.
Norris looked like they were making a run, but lo and behold, Wahoo has answered back. The lead is 10, and the Warriors have the ball. KOLN.
2-1-2 high post set. Hancock screening for Hine. Big rebound, big miss.
Russell comes down with it. He springs it to Otto. Once Norris gets into the front court, they're able to set their offense pretty well. It's getting set has been the problem.
32, Chad Otto probably should have maybe given it up over here to Marcus on the left wing, and he bounced.
It's 41-31 in favor of Wahoo. We're back after a quick timeout.
Live coverage continues here at the basketball game. We're here with number 32, Chad Otto's parents of Norris. These are Lloyd and Carolyn Otto. Now, Greg, I want you to know we've detected a trend here. Chad is also superstitious about his socks. Is that right?
Right.
He wears the same ones every game.
And the same outfit as well, is that true?
Pretty much, yeah. Tries to. Can keep it clean.
Are you guys nervous?
Yeah.
We are for them.
Okay, you must be very proud of him. Back to you, Greg.
Thank you, Terry. Steve, I'm a little superstitious myself. I wear the same socks for the entire state basketball March Madness period. Can you tell?
Keep your shoes on, Greg, please. Keep your shoes on.
It's 41-31, Wahoo with the ball. And you were talking about rhythm earlier, Steve. What do you notice in how the ebb and flow in this game has evolved?
I think both teams maybe are experiencing a little bit of fatigue. You know, they really went at each other pretty hard. And now, you know, it just hasn't really been as smooth this quarter.
Smooth enough for Wahoo, though. They own the advantage. Watipka over to Tolene. They go down to Simons. Nice defensive play. The scramble for the ball. Look at Simons fight and get the bucket. Nice play.
Credit Greg Hine for keeping alive a couple times on the tips, too, there. And again, you know, Wahoo just doesn't relent. You know, I mean, they ran their motion pretty good that time and then chased the offensive board home.
The discouraging thing for Norris is they made the play they wanted to make and still wound up with nothing. Matter of fact, -2 because Wahoo scored.
And now down at the other end here, we got an offensive foul on a push-off. And it's, again, against Adam Zetterman, his 4th foul. And, again, that's not good news for the Titan fans.
No, that's an individual they could ill afford to lose. Hine bringing up the ball. It's now a 12-point lead, and we talked about the confidence for Norris needing to get it down to at least single digits.
Big miss there by Mike Hancock, very short. He's seldom short. And I think, you know, the legs, 3 days in a row playing games.
They swing the ball. Bosiger top of the key, and he's been off the mark from that range.
Again, you know, everybody's kind of short. Fatigue setting in. Here comes Hine on the dribble. I'm sure he'll go by somebody and jump over the top of anybody and get something done.
The swing to Simon. Down to Hancock, and Hancock is down in the hole with the ball.
Great job of posting up by Mike Hancock. His defender was staying behind, and that spelled disaster for him as he knocks it down and gives him a 14-point lead.
Now, do you see, there's a nice play by number 33, Adam Zetterman. Do you see a little panic evolving here in the Norris game? They're coming down. I think this is the 3rd straight trip that they've thrown up a tray. And they've thrown it up pretty quickly.
I wouldn't call it panic, Greg, as much. I really think, you know, they're reflecting the fatigue from last night's double overtime game. I mean, they're short. Again, to get the ball inside, Greg Hine here is whistled for his 3rd foul. And, you know, Norris got to get it inside possible, you know, and they got to maybe shoot some free throws. Team foul situations 4 apiece. So the 1-on-1 is still a long ways away. And, you know, Wahoo, we talk about Wahoo's presses. Wahoo's hard to press themselves. So if you're down, you got to do some kind of thing in terms of extending your defense to climb back in it.
Well, 1 of 2.
Then you got to hit your free throws. 45-32 with about 1:18 to go here, Greg.
And Hine running the show again. He gives it up to Simons. There's a steal, and that's just what the doctor ordered for Norris. Bosiger in.
45-34, 1:03 to go.
Chipping away. We'll see what transpires here in the final seconds of quarter 3. Norris gambling.
5-man motion here by Wahoo against Norris's man-to-man pressure. 5 guys for Wahoo on the floor right now, have gone the whole quarter.
Hancock making Bosinger come out and get him.
Defensive switch, I might add, too. Bosinger is not guarding Hine anymore. He's guarding Hancock. And number 32, Chad Otto, the little taller defender, but maybe not as quick as Bosinger, has got the assignment of guarding Greg Hine.
You're talking about tiring out the legs, and we talked about the long game last night for Norris. Defending a club like this has got to be a nightmare. It's got to drain you completely.
There's no French proverb, you know. Be careful what you pray for, you might get it. And I'll tell you what, everybody wants Wahoo. You know, I'll tell you what, you better be careful what you want there.
Well, they play sharp defense down the stretch and are able to hold on. It's 45-34. Wahoo with the 11-point advantage as we head into the fourth quarter of the Class B championship game. Much more coming your way after the timeout. Back live at the Devaney Sports Center, fourth quarter action underway, 45-34 Wahoo. Coach, we're talking about how hard Norris is working on defense, and it shows when they go onto the offensive, doesn't it?
It really does. You know, they got a jump ball here on a loose ball situation, and Norris has got it. I think the thing, you know, we talk about fatigue. You got some good athletes at Wahoo. You know, not to take anything away from Norris, but, you know, Wahoo's going the same 5 people this half, and where we thought maybe 8 people playing for Norris would be a factor, it hasn't been yet, Greg.
It's a good point. Bosiger into the front court. Norris trying to chip away at this deficit.
Again, you got a little bit of, as what Mick calls his slime defense here. They're sitting there and they're manning Hancock and Hine. Excuse me, Hine is manning Bosiger here. Looks like a diamond and one is basically what it is.
Yeah, Otto keeps calling for the ball when he swings across the lane. Hasn't been able to get it yet.
I lied to you. We got Watipka guarding Otto. It's a triangle and 2.
And Bosiger walks.
Frustrating thing about those junk defenses, or slime defenses as Mick calls them, is that, you know, they just take you out of your offensive flow. There's not a lot of great offenses. If you go to a coaching clinic, they'll tell you how they're going to beat triangle and 2s and diamond and 1s and that type of thing. So credit Mick with having a great change of defense there to start the quarter.
So Wahoo is back on the attack. Watipka over to Hine. Hine passes the shot. He'll spin. He'll drive. But it's off. Holds the rebound, and here comes Otto.
Excuse me. May have gotten fouled there a little bit. But again, you know, that's a great shot.
Marcus Bosiger all the way across to Chris. They try to force it down low, and that just won't work. Wahoo too quick.
Credit Greg Hine this last time down here. Instead of taking the 19-9 three-point shot, penetrated, got a better shot. And he knows with an 11-point lead, you know, he doesn't have to shoot the outside shot.
You know, the impressive thing about Hine's game, and he puts up big numbers, but his defense has really been impressive.
Oh, big time, you know, impressive because he's athletic. You know, he jumps over you and he runs and everything. Here comes Mike Hancock with a 3.
And Tolene will be over the back there.
If you had your choice, you know, you talk about foul trouble and that type of thing. You know, Travis Tolene, I want to tell the TV viewers who have not seen Wahoo this year, I saw him against Grand Island Central Catholic, who went 6'7", 6'8", inside with KOLN, Baker, and Eric Strand. Tolene is a yeoman, and, you know, his game tonight hasn't reflected his valuableness to what Wahoo does.
Marcus Bosiger rolled the ankle. Looks like he rolled his left ankle.
A lot of pain. A lot of pain.
I think he rolled it on Travis's shoe when he came down.
Triangle and 2 still.
So they swing it. Yaza.
Got a foul here on Mike Simon. Knocked the screener down there. And again, we're sitting at on a team foul situation, Greg. We have 5 team fouls on Wahoo, 4 on Norris. So the 1-on-1 with 5:58 to go is still a long ways away.
So Norris inbounds. Russell goes down low. It's Otto. He'll try it a second time. That time it's good.
Chad Otto does a great thing. The coaches preach and teach, and that is you get an offensive rebound, pump fake underneath the basket. Did a good job. And credit Wahoo's not fouling him.
Behind the spinner. And Otto is called for the foul.
Again, Greg Hine, we've seen it time and time again tonight. Backs him into the lane, goes by him, pulls up. And again, you know, people like Greg Hine and Othello Meadows just give coaches nightmare because dribble penetration is the hardest thing to stop in the game of basketball today.
And one of the few players in the high school level, anywhere you go, when you penetrate and pull back, create space for yourself, that's just impossible to defend.
Well, it's a little help and recover situation. If somebody's got to come and get the dribbler that penetrated in, it's just one of those things that, you know, you can't teach and preach and coach quickness. You know, I mean, I don't see anybody jumping out there to volunteer to guard Greg Hine right now.
That's true. Adam Zetterman into the game. Hine second. That's good. The lead is 10 in favor of Wahoo, and we're going to return after a quick timeout, continuing coverage of the Boys State High School basketball tournament.
10-11's live coverage of the boys basketball finals continues. I'm here with a group of basketball fools. I'm not kidding you. Jim Dozel and his group have been here to every single playoff game held at Devaney for the last 7 years. Jim, why on earth would you do that?
Because basketball is a great sport and we really love being here.
Why do you like high school basketball?
I think it's because of the people that are here and really the way that the fans of all the towns in Nebraska really support the kids.
Every single game for 7 years. That's incredible. Well, I'm sure they appreciate the support. Back to you, Greg.
Cashing in on the bucket there, Adam Zetterman. I believe, Steve, that bucket will count.
The bucket will count, but we've got a foul away from the basketball there. I believe on number 42, Isaac Russell. It is. We talked there at the timeout about, Wahoo's played well with the lead. They had a 13-point lead at half, chopped to 11. Now it's down to 8. But again, they are taking better shots offensively.
Hine with the ball. Watipka over to Simons. Boy, Hine is everywhere on the court. He's continuously rotating. Watipka to Simons. They're looking down low to Tolene. No call.
Probably a good no call there, and if it would have been called, it would have been a blocking foul because he didn't let Tolene come down.
I think at this stage of the game, you don't want to get a blocking foul. You want to make sure they don't get the ball.
Good point, Greg. Good point. Again, we're 48-38 with 4.5 minutes left in the championship B game here at Devaney.
So it's Bosinger over to Otto. Zetterman looking down low, and Hine is called for the push.
Again, Wahoo stays in the triangle in 2. Greg Hine that time tried to body check the cutter, just take his cut away from him. And I think Greg Hine was at the spot there. Again, Greg I think that's his 4th foul, if I don't miss my guess. I'm sorry, it's his 3rd foul.
Yasa will go to the line. Chance for Norris to put some points on the board as the clock stands still. Can't do it.
Big rebound by Simons there, and here they come on transition. Mick's talking 5 game over there. You're going to see a lot of...
Hine creating and scoring.
Tough shot. And again, there's not a lot you can do defensively.
What can you do? He's fading away from the basket on the baseline. Unless you're Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, that's unstoppable.
He didn't look at the hoop till he was releasing it. Great move in their side there by 42.
Isaac Russell was nice. Nice sharp move, so it's back to a 10-point deficit. Norris needs some sort of momentum swing right here. They've got to make a run of some kind.
You can't press them, though. You can't. What I'm saying is you talk about a foul here.
Boy, that was a late call, and it looked like Otto had all ball.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm kind of partial. Both officials are from Grand Island. Dan Trout and Joe Wells, and I guarantee they work a lot of our games at Adams Central, and they are a good set of officials. Sure. I always tell our kids, the game will be called better than you'll play it, and maybe Chad Otto needs to hear that.
Well, it's 50-40, and we're going to return with 3:42 to go in this Class B championship game. We'll take a timeout. Much more coming your way. Well, Kurt Carlson has some work to do. 3:42 left in this Class B championship game. Wahoo up by 10. Greg Hine at the line. And it's off.
Wahoo is elected to go. Mick's elected to go. The same 5 starters the whole half. Talk about Iron Man performances. They've done a great job.
Hine gets at the fault, and Norris will go to the offensive.
Get a little junk press by Mick here. As they drop back, it looks like, again, triangle in 2. We got Watipka and Hancock chasing Bosiger and Otto.
Russell with the ball. Yaza down low. There's Zetterman, and that's 2.
Travis Tolene was all over Zetterman.
Okay, so we're back to single digits now. It's just over 3 minutes to go. Good
ball movement. Good ball movement. Tough shot, and it went down. Great shot by Mike Hancock.
Well, they just answer the bell every time.
I tell you what, they've been answering that bell for about 7 years, too. And again, you know, I don't know if it's going to change, but, you know, Mick's done a great job.
Well, for all the other schools in Class B, a ringing sound in their ears as Wahoo, for whom the bell tolls, it's championship hardware in their school's hardware case.
With the new classification change, Wahoo will go down to C1, so if you're in Class B and staying there, you're probably happy.
Wahoo will take a timeout.
Well, Tipka did a good job there, you know, avoiding the 5-second count.
We talked about the one Wahoo defeat this year. Monsignor McClancy, a 64-53 setback. Monsignor McClancy, no slouch, are they, Steve?
I saw in USA Today this week, Greg, and they're not rated nationally, but they're playing a New York City team that is nationally ranked in the top 5 or 7 in the semifinals of the Parochial League City Championship in New York City. And, you know, if that's the only loss, that tells you, and I know Mick said at the time that it was one of those things where they weren't used to that kind of quickness, so, you know, they didn't lose to a slouch. And, you know, Ogallala has been the only one recently that's proved him to be real human and gotten the best of them. And Wahoo just battles, and that's a credit to their program.
So a New York City school, the only one to put a digit in the loss column against Wahoo. Against Nebraska teams, they're perfect.
53-42 with 2:54 to go. Again, Norris is going to try. Last time down, they did maybe the best job they've done all night. You got to double up Hine and make him give it up. And they did a pretty good job, but they get it to Watipka. Watipka skips it over to Hine. Hine drives down and makes the big shot he does. And again, you know, here they come.
So let's say Steve Burton is Kurt Carlson right now. What do you tell the troops?
Well, you tell them you got to lay it all out here. And again, they're doubling up on Hine. Tough call.
Carlson working the ref, hoping to get one of those calls to go his way. He can ill afford to lose Chad Otto.
Yeah, and again, he tried the Brooklyn steal coming around behind with the wraparound steal. But again, you know, if he fouls him, you know. And you know, I know that Kurt wants to call, and it was a great job. You know, Norris is playing the way they got to now. They got to get the ball out of Hine's hand.
And Hine with the miss, but Hancock with the splendid backdoor rebound, stealing it right out of the Norris guy's hands.
Norris has really, like you said, done a great job this half of playing harder on defense, but it's really taken a lot out of their offensive production.
A foul, and you see the frustration on the Titan faces.
There's a thing that, you know, you got the defending state champion playing a team that's undefeated. And there's something about an undefeated team that has a great will not to go down without a great fight. Unfortunately for Norris tonight, they have not shot the ball well. You shoot well, you look good out there. And conversely, when you don't shoot well, things don't look good for you. Yet their effort's been great.
Hancock connects.
.54-42 with 2:31 to go. Again, Hancock at the line. You got to like that if you're Mick Anderson.
Titans have their work cut out. The ball rims out. And Norris will start back. It's Bosiger.
Again, they're back to the 3-man, man-to-man slime defense with 2 guys down on the block, Simon and Toline.
Well, Tipka will get the foul, and that means Otto will go to the line. Well, last thing Wahoo wants to do right now is foul.
Exactly, and the thing about it is, Mick has changed up. He's given them tonight 1-3-1 look. He's given them the triangle and 2. And he's giving them that 2-man zone, 3 guys chasing man-to-man. And like Kurt said at halftime, it gave him fits the first half, and it continues to give him fits as far as getting any kind of rhythm. Chad Otto knocks the first one down, 54-43, 2:19 to go. Plenty of time, but you got to get it done real quick in the next minute 19 because you get the last minute, it's tough.
Hits them both. Mick Anderson still on one knee. Norris within 10. Here's Hine.
Great decision by Travis Toline from Wahoo's vantage point by bringing it out.
Sure, Polk, take some time off the clock. Hine again.
54 points might be enough to win this basketball game if you play with a lot of poise. And, you know, Travis recognizing that he hadn't had his best offensive output. But, you know, I know Coach Osborne in Nebraska does the scholarship guys that don't know how to play, you know, and don't know how to compete. And boy, Travis, I've seen him do some very, very good things, you know, and the thing of it is he did a good job there bringing that thing off the baseline.
Does what he has to do for his team to be successful. Well, right now, with a 10-point deficit, Norris is looking minimum 4 trips down the floor.
Yeah. And again, you know, Wahoo's going to have to hit the free throws, you know, and that's going to get down with those foul and do that. Big offensive rebound. Again, great hustle by the shooter there in going to the board, you know, and again, you gotta chin the rebound, you know, and Norris failed to do that.
Yeah, you got to put a body on the shooter. When the shooter gets a rebound in the lane, something's wrong.
Great point, great point.
So it's Simons.
You probably got to, you don't want to foul Hancock if you're Norris. You want to foul probably Simon or maybe even Greg Hine or Watipka here.
Well, Watipka would be the guy to get. Not Hine.
Good tip there.
You know, Norris is coming close with their defensive effort, but, you know, they've already decided what they're going to do. Toline kicks it back. He could have taken that right to the hole, and now they have to send Hancock to the line.
Norris fans wanting a 3-second call on Hine there as he went in and dished off in the corner. He got knocked down, and, you know, tell you what, it's just one of those things that the officials didn't call and didn't elect to call. We've got a timeout here.
Well, Norris's undefeated campaign in jeopardy, down by 10 with 1:34 to go. And our Terry Tiber standing by live with another story from the stands. Terry?
Greg, I'm here with the 6th grade Lady Wahoops who won their game today, and they're here to show their support. They've actually been breaking eardrums, practicing it. Girls, show them how it's done. They're a little excited. Back to you, Greg.
Thanks, Terry. Steve, that sounded like when you walked in today to do color.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, the Wahoo program, I know Mick has credited that lot in the press as being the thing that really generated their turnaround. And talking to Larry Faust, the newspaper editor there at Wahoo before the game, and you know, they're coming out with some special editions in terms of Mick's coaching career there. And you know, Wahoo wasn't real successful in the early 80s and stuff, and Mick would be the first to tell you they were groping for some changes, and one of the things that were really important was the Wahoo program, and they really got some involvement.
Well, between 1948 and 87, they didn't make a state tournament appearance. Obviously, it started with the youth.
Well, that, and then I'll tell you what, they started working harder at it in terms of the off-season programs and that type of thing.
How much is mystique worth in a game?
I'll tell you what I tell our players, and I know I'm right about this, you got to be careful. When you play somebody else, you're playing the team and not their reputation. You know, if you let mystique get you, then you're not taking care of business. But I'll be honest with you, teams have let it get to them, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Good or bad. You know, when you play a good team or a bad team, either one, you're playing the team, don't worry about your reputation, don't worry about what they're saying down at the coffee shop or over a pitch game somewhere. You got to go out and play and compete. And, you know, I think Norris on another night, when they were a little bit fresher, like 2 overtime game drains, and you can talk about the adrenaline and all that type of thing getting you up off the floor. Still physical bodies that you had to play 3 games in 3 nights, and it's tough.
You look at how Wahoo got here, 81-43 in the quarters against Aurora. Not exactly physically spent after that one. Then they beat Omaha Gross 64-49 in the semis. Again, it was pretty close down the stretch, but they pulled away at the wire. Again, not the taxing emotionally or physically game that Norris had to encounter in their semifinal.
You're right on top of it, Greg. Simons knocks down the first free throw, 55-44, 1:18 to go. Wahoo's that far away from a state championship.
I guess the flip side, though, from Wahoo's standpoint would be they have depth. We have 5 guys, and we still were able to keep our 5 guys fresh, and that says a lot about our conditioning.
I would say athletically, we got a foul here on Watipka. Athletically, and I don't know what kind of athletic index you want to measure by. I'm going to tell you what, Norris kids are great hustlers and scrappers. Hine is a very, very good athlete. Mike Hancock was a very, very good fullback in football. And, you go on, and just, Tolene, the scholarship recruit for Nebraska in football. Hey, they've got some athletes that are playing basketball, as well as good basketball players playing the game. Big free throw there.
Bosiger gets the first to go. It's an 11-point deficit. The Huskers with the big win today.
Big win down at Kemper. And, Oklahoma State knocks off KU. Got a foul there. Oklahoma State knocks off KU. You can probably go down and get a ticket tomorrow with KU, Missouri, and K-State not being in the finals down there at Kemper.
That's true. Well, that's a pleasant surprise to say the least.
It's a credit to Coach Nee's program, because a couple weeks ago the press talking about not even hard to get an NIT bid, and they just turned it around, and I think he's credited Eric Pikowski, the seniors, justifiably so on the situation. They're playing for a higher seed tomorrow, obviously, by playing for the tournament championship.
So what do you think? If they do hit 20 wins, which they would do with the victory tomorrow, you're talking a 4 or 5 seed.
Eric Pikowski and Coach Nee said 6 today. And I guess they know what they're talking about.
So we have a foul, and it looks like Mr. Simons will be headed to the free throw line.
56-45, 101 to go. And, the thing of it is, Al McGuire made a great statement when he was commentating in the 80s. Winning's the greatest emotion. Losing's the second greatest emotion. And, nobody likes to lose. And yet, these kids have just spent themselves. They've answered the bell every time out this year except tonight. So, the Norris fans have got to be proud if they don't come back, even in defeat, because nobody wants to shoot poorly. Nobody wants to miss free throws. Nobody wants to turn their angle, and those things happen.
So how do you think Wahoo would fare against the Class A schedule?
Well, season long, it'd be tough to get by with just 5 players like the team he has this year. And again, I have not coached in Class A, and the only Class A games I get to see is down here, and I think a lot of times people make mistakes. Well, they couldn't do this. A lot of people don't know anything about Class A. I just know that Wahoo would be competitive. Mount Michael, Omaha Gross plays in the Metro, and and the thing of it is, there's some teams that played Omaha Gross out of the Metro. It's pretty good, and that's not taking anything from Gross. I'm just telling you that sometimes there's some bad teams in the Metro too.
Sure. 57-45 now, less than a minute to go. And if you're a Wahoo fan, a fitting conclusion to Mick Anderson's career. You know Mick personally. What did he tell you before this game?
Well, he was happy. He was happy to be in it and that type of thing. And tremendously confident. And that's what you got to be as a coach coming in. Big basket there. In behind. Breakaway here to Tolene.
And Tolene just kicks it out. He traveled though. Still down by 12. Asking quite a bit.
Remember when I said 54 was enough to win this game? It's 58-47 with 33 ticks left. So, again, Tolene knows that too, and he's been coached that.
The NBA 3 is off.
Mike Hancock coming down the other end. We got a foul here. I think it'll be on whistle on 35. Finish your comment on Mick Anderson before the game. Well, he's confident. They've been there. Norris is like a lot of us. They've had some tough luck losses in the districts in the last couple of years. This is their first trip since '86, I believe it is. And, you got to compete. You got to realize Mick Anderson, if it was the other way around scoreboard-wise now, would be unflappable. The fans of Wahoo would probably be irate. Mickey does a great job of keeping everything in perspective, because I know a lot of people would have had a swollen head with the success they've had. Mickey, every coach to a T will tell you that he hasn't, that he's kept it in perspective. You haven't crossed this road yet, but just how do you know when to step aside? How do you know enough is enough? Well, got a foul here. Yep. I think Mick said it best in the Wahoo paper that I happened to get a copy of. That, the little things in coaching. He's tired of riding that yellow bus, and again, he's not ruling out a return to coaching. But the thing is, the little things, everybody wants to put their duds on and go coach on Friday and Saturdays. But, who wants to go to practice Monday morning or Monday afternoon and that type of thing? Terry Tiber standing by with another tidbit from the stands. Terry?
I'm here with the Wahoo cheerleaders who have a message for their retiring coach, Mick Anderson.
We love you, Mick. We'll
back to you, Greg.
Well, in Wahoo, he's the most famous Mick since Crocodile Dundee.
All I know is, Greg, you know, with all due respect to his lovely wife, Kathy, that's the pretty bunch of girls that have ever been chasing Mick Anderson I've known.
And now he's walking away from his stage. What's he going to do?
I sure hope he doesn't find out about that comment.
Yeah, next year when you're in the situation and we have him in your seat, it'll be redemption time.
Tell you what, Greg, great guy. I played against him when I was at Elkhorn Mount Michael my senior year, and he was at Oakland, and, you know, he's a great, great guy, and I mean that sincerely. You know, the success has not gotten to his head.
Chris Johnson now in, so is Brandon Bolt for Norris. Jamie Draper, Nate Yaza, and BJ Helming. In for Wahoo, Sean Forbes is in. And their numbers are not at a good vantage point for us. Eric Eady is in as well. Chris Anderson and Tim Bohattie. But that will be how the 1994 high school basketball season concludes in Class B. It is Wahoo on top once again. The final number is 62-47. Wahoo ending Norris's undefeated season. Norris suffers their first loss. Wahoo's head coach, Mick Anderson, he ends his 18-year coaching career with yet another state title. That makes 6 in 8 years, Steve.
Well, I'll tell you what. Everybody talks about, yeah, they'll get it and all this and that. You got to go out and do it when they sell tickets. And, you know, you got to answer the bell. And, you know, the other thing, you know, there's a little bit of luck involved. Luck in the standpoint that I have always said this. Everybody, every team, no matter who you are, be it Norris, Wahoo, Prep, or whatever, is about one sprained ankle away from being ordinary. You know, you take somebody like tonight, the Bossiger kid goes down in a very crucial, critical juncture. Greg Hine goes down a sprained ankle. That's a tough deal. And you know, again, they've overcome those things, and I'm happy for Mick.
Well, we're going to come back with the award ceremony, but for the time being, we'll take a timeout. 62-47, the final numbers. Back in a minute with the award ceremony. Norris receiving their runner-up hardware. Let's join the public address announcer for the award ceremony.
Otto. Number 33, Adam Zetterman. Number 34, Marcus Bossiger. And number 52, Ryan Holes. Now, all of you are welcome to receive the runner-up trophy for your school. Congratulations, Norris High School, Class B state runners-up. And now, to the champions. First, Coach Mick Anderson. We have a special award for you. Now, Coach, hand out the gold medals to your championship team members. We'll introduce them one by one. Number 15, Louis Wotipka. Number 33, Eric Eady. Number 41, Sean Forbes. Number 42, Chris Anderson. Number 44, Dan Brown. Number 53, Ryan Fiala. Number 55, Tim Bohattie. Number 21, Josh Anderson. Number 31, Mike Simons. Number 35, Greg Hine. Number 45, Travis Toline. And number 54, Mike Hancock. Ladies and gentlemen, the 1994 Nebraska Class B High School Basketball Champion, Wahoo High School. Congratulations, players and coaches.
So the Wahoo Warriors wind up on top again. Let's look at the leading scorers. Greg Hine with 25 points to lead everybody. Mike Hancock with 22. And Mike Simons with 8. As for Norris, Chris Bosinger with 13, Isaac Russell 12, and Adam Zetterman 11. We're back with post-game interviews and a look at the statistics in a moment. Wahoo, the Class B champion. Back live at the Devaney Sports Center. Wahoo, the Class B champion. Let's take a look at the final numbers. Wahoo, a decisive advantage in field goal percentage. They shot about the same number of field goals as Norris. Free throws, another advantage to Wahoo, as was the percentage. Rebounds, about the same. Turnovers, Norris with 17, Wahoo with 12. The big stat, though, Norris, 1 of 18 from Treyland. Unbelievable. Terry Tiber now standing by with Kurt Carlson, the head coach of the Norris Titans. Terry?
That's right, Greg. We're here with Kurt. Kurt, an incredible season for your team. You have to be happy about that.
I'm really proud of this group of kids. In some cases, I think people probably feel like they overachieved. But I hand a lot of it to our senior leadership and how well they worked and what kind of good models they were for the other kids. And it's just been a great year for us.
Tough when you're up against a team like Wahoo.
Wahoo's got a great tradition, you know, and I think sometimes Norris and some of the other good Class B schools have been overlooked a little bit because of Wahoo's tradition. And that's okay, you know, they deserve it. But, you know, at least hopefully by us getting to this point in the state tournament, people realize that, you know, Norris has a good program too, and we hope to be back here again in the real near future.
Well, the way you played, I mean, you played a good game tonight.
We came out strong. We're intimidated at all. You know, I think a lot of times teams come out intimidated because they're playing Wahoo in their tradition. But I thought our kids came out really and played loose and played hard. Second quarter did us in. We didn't score enough points. I thought the pressure got to us a little bit. We probably didn't adjust real well as we should have. But, you know, I guess I would just like to say that, you know, I'm really thankful the Lord's given me this opportunity to coach this group of kids. And they're a great group of parents, assistant coaches. They've done a great job, and you know, and my family's been really supportive too, and we're just really glad that we had the opportunity to play here tonight.
Lots to be proud of. Thanks, Coach. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Terry. We're standing by here with Coach Steve Burton, the head man from Hastings Adams Central. Steve, lasting impressions for you tonight.
Well, first of all, that's a class act there in Kurt Carlson, and he hit it right on the head. And, you know, in coaching, the fun is working with the kids. And, you know, it's tough. You know, parents are parents and fans are fans. And, you know, it just, you know, it's tough. It's tough to get there and have your goal and dream shattered. And I think, you know, it's a great deal what he said. And he's got to be proud of his program and that type of thing. And, again, Wahoo kind of suffocates people because they've had the success. And sometimes good teams and good programs get overlooked.
No losers tonight. 2 winners. Norris, they get their first loss of the year, but they enjoyed a fantastic year, and of course Wahoo going out with Mick Anderson. I want to thank you for stopping by. You had a very successful year at Hastings Adams Central this year. I can't tell you how much I enjoyed working with you. You were a real treat.
Well, thanks a lot. I apologize for my voice, and I apologize for not knowing the Norris kids better. But I'd seen Wahoo against Central Catholic, and I've known their players and that. But again, it was a lot of fun, and again, a great atmosphere in high school sports, and the coverage that our state affords it is just a great thing because, you know, sports are for kids being better people, and I'll tell you what, a setting like this, you got to love.
Steve, it was great. You're a class act in your own right. We're going to throw it to Steve Van Hoosen, who has another class act standing by. He's with Wahoo head coach Mick Anderson. Steve?
That's right, Greg, a class act indeed. The record speaks for itself. Mick Anderson, head coach at Wahoo. Mick, I guess, what was the difference tonight?
Well, I thought we were able to get some steals off the press and get some easy shots and, kind of get the tempo going our way. I felt we played good defense last night and tonight, so I really think when you get to this point of the season, defense wins championships, and for the most part, I thought our kids played great defense in the tournament.
Experience had to have helped, too. I mean, these guys have been through it so many times.
Well, I think so. This is a veteran crew, and they kind of know what it takes, and they're not going to get rattled, and they're not going to let an opponent's 2 or 4 point lead get to them, and they know it's a long contest, and you just got to hang in there. So